What? Get out of here, bugs. Damn. Why is you out of bounds? This game is so stupid. This game is stupid.
Here's Anthony Davis, pulling mid-range and knocks it down. James pushes, gives it up all the way across the floor. Contavious pound well, hits it three. LeBron with a long three, and that one's down. LeBron James makes it a 10-0 start for the Los Angeles Lakers. Mamba, thank you for what you did for the NBA. Great to see the kids from the Mamba League as 5 of 7 shooting for LA. Portland may have to make a substitution with one of their big fellas. As you see, McCollum knocked down a jumper. Transition for the Lakers. They got 8 fast break points already. That was a key for both coaches. And a turnaround is good for Anthony Davis. He's fouled. McCollum gives it up. Mello took some contact. He wants a foul. None called. And it's a breakaway for the Lakers. And Los Angeles just making it look easy right now. See how it goes now that you've taken the traditional big. You've put AD at the center position. It looks for Nurkic to try to force himself inside like he is here. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Fitting some extra free throw practice for the Lakers. But they were getting to the line often. McCollum. And gets with the follow. That looked like a little pass interference on that play. He doesn't have the red mesh jersey on, but he might as well. And coming out of that timeout, Kyle Kuzma with the hit. So cool to see who's going to be in the virtual crowd each and every night. There's Damian Lillard finally gets one to fall. That's his first make. Could use anything positive going into the second quarter. Trent, he'll pull it. And he's got it. Hit that one over J.R. Smith prior to a shutdown. Had wins over Milwaukee, had wins over the Clippers as well. There's a big hit, had a triple-double in a losing effort in Game 1. Best scoring game in Game 3 with 38. He drops another 3-ball. Pace, the ball movement, and LeBron doing his thing. Now look at J.R. Smith with a steal up ahead. LeBron James, he'll take it all the way. LeBron James with the reverse. When you build a wall, you still have to retreat back out to the three-point line. Nurkic leaves it for Carmelo Anthony. try to keep him in gut ball on that post. Top for Dwight Howard, says number 6 for LeBron James. Howard's first basket. Here is Melo. Nifty move in 2011. Anyway, both assistant coaches are not head coaches and doing great right now. So the drive, Caruso can't get it to go. Disrupted by Nurkic. In transition, the Blazers. McCollum, the crossover. McCollum all the way in with a reverse. 15-0 to start this game. Lakers in the first 4 minutes had that big lead. Caruso all the way in, the layup. The 8-seeded Blazers right now as we approach the 1-minute mark of this first half. LeBron James just shooting with pure confidence right now. 76 points on the board, 18 from LeBron. He's got 7 assists as well. Gary Trent Jr. with a 3. The guarantees from Charles Barkley developing as a story on its own right now. Absolute kiss of death is LeBron too easy today on this floor. 2 opponents with 50 plus. Coming to the end of this second quarter. James all the way in. That is attitude and demeanor changes, and you can feel it in the locker room, and everyone, coaches, upper management, everyone feels it. And he said it is such a confidence builder. No, he is on the NBA campus. Well, as LeBron takes a deep breath, oh my goodness. I just like to say this to put a button on it, right? Provide a wonderful distraction for those out there in the struggle so they can get back to work and continue the great work they're doing. Carmelo Anthony. I'll be curious to see if Frank Vogel will try to get some more minutes. There's going up top for McKee. LeBron made eye contact. 21 assists for the Lakers on 34 made baskets. That's going to be a foul on a 3-ball. Nurkic sends it out to Carmelo Anthony, and the 3-pointer is in, and a foul. Could be post. James on the post up. And now Kuzma for 3. He's got it. Kyle Kuzma has hit his 3rd 3 tonight. There's Carmelo Anthony, a little vintage Melo right there. Skinny Melo. Gary Trent Jr. gets a friendly bounce. Danny Green for 3. And he gets the friendly bounce. The very first play when Melo thought he was fouled on a play and didn't get the call. You've seen that frustration manifest. And if he and AD aren't on the floor at the same time, how would the others react? These are the type of plays, and this next 12 minutes can kind of show you what they've been working on in practice. With the 2 dynamic stars not on the floor, they're just going to have to enjoy all of this. It's William Gabriel who got the start. Iron out who's going to have the ball late in the shot clock, what type of players there are, just like, Dwight Howard following the rim run because he understands waiters can get to also. Got some sweeps in the East, but this Western Conference has gotten tighter. There's a flush by Dwight Howard. You don't want him doing that all the time, and if the Lakers find another facilitator to give LeBron 3 or 4 minutes of rest, Whiteside just shot a 3. Hey. What a wild year it has been for Waiters. It's self-inflicted in a lot of ways. He was in limbo with Miami. Hurt so many people. Talking junk about the Clippers on the last play of the game about a switch. So right, and first of all, there are some great coaching staffs here. All the coaching staffs, in my opinion, that really have some great guys. Skill set of these guys increase all year long, and who makes them better players? 3-quarter is good. Anthony Simons. He had heard that he was just an incredible amount of pain. It was hard for him to move. And Coach Vogel told us before today's game that little things like that. That's a big loss. Frank Vogel talked a lot about Rondo earlier today. And his last game, as Jared mentioned early March, it was March 10th, the last time he played in an NBA game. J.R. Smith looks up to the heavens and says, thank you. The bench did him knocking down that last 3 to LeBron James inside. J.R. Smith, the other way. And his last game, as Jared mentioned early March, it was March 10th, the last time he played in an NBA game. J.R. Smith looks up to the heavens and says, thank you. The bench did him knocking down that last 3 to LeBron James inside. J.R. Smith, Dion Waiters, players are trying to get back in the mix as Azonia hits a 3. Are fighting their way back down 3-1. They're going to have Lillard, but he exited this game in the 3rd quarter with a right knee injury. As the top seed in the West. They'll have a closeout opportunity On Wednesday night, we'll have it for you here on TNT. One last heave. Silas can't get it to go, and it's the Lakers by 20. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Los Angeles Lakers now up 3-1 in this best-of-7 series. History is on their side. Only one loss. That was back in 06 to Phoenix. Up 3-1 in this best-of-7 series. History is on their side. Only one loss. That was back in 06 to Phoenix.
Chuck's starting to sound more and more like a used car salesman with a little No, it's Baxter. No, we should do just a whole segment. 135 to 115. Lakers led by as many as 38. Never trailed. That's 3 in a row, isn't it? I did think it was like at least. Thank you, Kitty. It'll make you feel a lot better. Well, I will say this. This was a total domination by the Lakers. A total domination. But I would take my hat off to the Portland Trail Blazers. They did not quit. They had they had no chance to win that game in the second half, and they competed. But obviously I was wrong. Say it again. I was wrong. Here's what he was wrong about as we roll the highlights of Game 4 between the Lakers and the Blazers on Mamba Day. This was ugly. This got off to a 15-0 start. The Lakers knew that we got to put this team away and don't give them the chance. They came out smoking. AD from the mid-range. KCP. Nice. He was a difference. And look at that score, huh? On Mamba Day, 24-8. See, I don't mind that kid for him, because that's his game. Trailblazers got frustrated by the officials. They're really good. You have that chase down by LeBron, and LeBron again? Oh, jelly. What's a jelly? Jelly. Smuckers right there. And he's pushed his head. Oh, God. Oh, baby. That's a shot. Great in the half. There he goes again. Blue ball. 22 in the first half on 8 out of 9 shooting. They were up 80 to 51 at the half. Man, look at that. They hit a second game when you're in there. 135 to 115. 135, the most playoff points in a game for the Lakers since 1987. Led by as many as 38, they lead the series 3-1. Here's Terry Stotts. Only that obviously he hurt his knee, and I believe he's getting an MRI.
Next question is from Casey Roll on ProLakers.com.
He's eating these boys up.
Welcome back to Casey. Next question is from Jason. Coaches, how would you describe the position you guys are in right now?
Not good. You know, it's you're down 1-3. You know, it's a tough position against a good team. So, you know, we regroup. It's one game at a time. You can break out all the cliches, but we know what we're up against when you're down to a good team 3-1. So we got a battle.
All right, Casey, go ahead. Eric, how would you describe the start you guys had tonight?
first answer was about Damian Lillard, who left the game in the second half. So an MRI on the knee. Meantime, this game was a doozy. The Rockets and the Thunder. James Harden, 15 points in the first quarter. Dennis Schroeder had himself an afternoon. You set that Rod Triple blow to one. Eric Gordon. And Chris Paul. Off glass for two. 60-60 at the half. As Oklahoma City tries to tie things up with the Rockets, who come out in the third quarter and go 8 for 8. And then go 5 for 26 the rest of the game from deep. Who's knows if they open up a 15-point lead on the strength of all these threes. How about three for Eric? The answer by Oklahoma City after being down 15 is to get him with a 19-5 run to close out the third quarter. 3 seconds to work with. Schroeder. You can win a game, you know what I'm saying? So they're now 93-92, go to the fourth quarter, and in that fourth quarter, Kenny, 11 lead changes, they went back and forth.
Well, James Harden started going to the basket, no shot blockers in there. Gallinari's the biggest guy on the floor, but he still plays on the perimeter. But Dennis Schroeder was Nick Van excellent tonight.
Harden again there, so they got the lead. And Chris Paul.
Chris Paul was
the guy who leads the league in clutch points. Those are under 5 minutes to go in a game that's 5 points. With the flip on Whiskey. Here you go, chance to tie for the P.J. Tucker from his spot. The Rockets got fouled.
Nobody be sanitizing their hands today.
117 to 114 is the final. The bench 43 to 13 for OKC and 22 to 9 at the foul line, and we got ourselves a tie series, 117 to 114. Here's what they were saying after.
Obviously, teams going to make runs, but it's to really make a run. We weren't getting our shots that we want offensively, and defensively, we weren't, still trying to get to lose them. So it was a disaster on both ends. We came in at halftime, and the coach was like, first quarter we gave up 8 threes, second quarter we gave up 2, we was turning in the right direction, when they came out, wow. So I think our team all season has dealt with adversity really. We just tried to, keep playing, keep fighting, stayed in the game. I look for balance, obviously they really good at getting to the paint. It's just that they're obviously they gained confidence and they were able to run. We just never really recovered after that. We still have opportunities in our fourth quarter, of course. So just tough loss for us. We bounced back.
So your bracket in the Western Conference. Lakers with their convincing win, now a win away from the Western Conference semis. Houston and Oklahoma City. That's going at least 6. Utah will try to close out Denver tomorrow, and Clippers and Dallas tied up at 2 apiece. Chuck, you had a question for Kenny?
You look at all those plays on the Rockets, okay? They switch everything, correct? The Rockets are the defense. Yeah. And you've got big guys trying to keep Chris Paul and Schroeder in front of them. Yeah. As a guard, what do you see? What do you think when a big guy switches out on you? Well, if he switches out instead of doubles, that's why I think it's difficult in the NBA, that we switch everything mentality. Because what happens is, if you say LeBron is going to guard Kawhi, and then they switch everything, he really is not guarding him. Yeah. All LeBron would do is just say, okay, let me get a pick. Or just like they do, because Paul says, okay, I'm going to get the big guy because you switch everything, and now I have a big guy on me. So whoever was assigned to me is not really guarding me. And so what I would do is just, there's no way a 20 to 30-year-old point guard in any NBA, Kenny Smith, anybody who's 20 to 30, any big man could stay in front of him. And so I would just isolate the floor, open it up, get into the lane, either shoot, score, or dish. But I would get a basket or an assist or a foul pretty much every time.
Because if you look at the three
with his skill, Rich's skill, he's going to get
but I'm saying
a lot more.
The last couple days we saw Kemba Walker every time.
Yeah.
We saw Chris Paul every time tonight either get a layup or a good shot. And then we saw Schroeder.
So matchups are only in transition. Because if you don't really have you don't really have a defensive assignment if you're switching everything. Because if you're a great player like Chris does it, James does it, LeBron does it, they go, okay, who do I want to guard me? This guy. Come set a pick, and then they switch, and he gets the guy that he wants on him. So to me, it's the most not smart defensive strategy if you're trying to win a championship, because the best defenders don't guard the best players.
On the Lakers side of things, with the Lakers and Portland Trailblazers, amid all the concerns that there were during the seeding games, and people say, "Oh, I don't know about this Laker team. They're out of sync there." How would you describe where they are right now as a team?
Portland came in focused. Dame has some spectacular games. They said publicly, we want that 8 spot. They got it. Came in game 1 and surprised everybody. But what they did was wake the Lakers up. The Lakers now playing inspiring basketball. And, sometimes you have to do that. When you have a team that is very talented, sometimes you got to knock them in the mouth to get them refocused. And LeBron's been doing this thing. The others have been playing well, shooting the ball well. Danny Green hasn't found the Danny Green form yet, but he's hitting some timely shots. And AD, ever since I challenged him at the game 1, playing some excellent basketball.
Are you still on that bandwagon, or are you ready to? Are you ready to just admit, look, they can't handle this Laker team?
Well, coming into this series, first of all, I didn't think they could stop us offensively, and they are. They are stopping them. But if you go back to game 1, AD and LeBron did their thing, and nobody else shot the ball well. The Lakers are a good shooting team. But if you look at the last 3 games, KCP,
they shot 48% in regular season.
But they're not from good 3. Not the 3.
I thought you just said
the Lakers, because that's because LeBron and AD are great shooters, but they were in the ball.
They're not a great 3-point shooter.
But if they're making shots like they're making now, because LeBron and AD are going to be constant. But if those guys, remember, they didn't play well in game 1. Pope had 1 point, and Danny Green was missing in action. But if those role players play like they're playing right now, the Lakers are going to be tough to beat.
They came in shooting 29% for the series from 3 into this game.
Victory?
I'm on the slump right now, Kenny.
Well, Portland really wants you to say guaranteed.
No. Hey, listen, I'm 0 for 3. I'm going to take some time off. No more guarantee.
I think that's an excellent tack by you. What you got up here, Jeremy? Chuck prepping for Wednesday's game. Gone fishing, featuring him. The moment Chuck acknowledges, almost brings a tear to the eye, doesn't it? When we come back, could the Heat seal the deal against the Pacers? We welcome you back to Inside the NBA, presented by Kia. Here's the schedule for Tuesday. We hit the air at 6:30, and we bring in the Jazz and the Nuggets, and then the Mavericks and the Clippers, and the memories still fresh of this moment.
Finney Smith to inbound. Back to Doncic. Doncic pulls up, 3-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer! Let's go! Luka Doncic!
He was the talk of the NBA for the last 24 hours, and we get to talk to him now. Luka Doncic joins us down there from the bubble. And Luka, the emotions of that moment, take me through it, from the shot to being mobbed to being doused with water afterwards. What an experience.
It was amazing, you know, a lot of emotion, especially in these playoffs. And obviously when you hit the game winner, you know, I said, they asked me the same thing after the game. I said, the best moment was not when I saw it go in, it's when the whole team like was running towards me. I think that was very emotional for me.
You know, Luka, when did y'all find out Porzingis was not gonna play?
I found out when they announced starting five. You know, I went back to the locker room, and that's where I found out. And he was very, very sad. You know, he couldn't be out there. It's very important. He wants to play. He wants to be out there, and you know, just unfortunate. He's got to work on his knee, and that's when I found out.
So when you're down 21 in the second quarter, are you thinking to yourself, we're in trouble, or I got to be more aggressive?
I would never think we're in trouble. It's a lot of game. You know, anything can change. You know, I was just talking. I said we're gonna win this game. You know, we believe. I think like I always say, you know, you gotta believe it. And you know, we believed from the beginning, and we came together. We started playing way better defense, and that's just from there we went up.
Luka, Shaq here. Two things. First thing is Coco se mate. The second thing is
What does that mean? What does that first of all?
Luka knows.
I want to know what it means.
Ask him. Ask him what it means. Ask him what it means. Okay. Yes, it means how you doing. Second of all, being in Europe playing in front of those crowds, I've seen videos of those crowds being tough. Is that what gives you the experience to play in front of, you know, NBA type crowds and be able to withstand trash talk? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's some really tough crowds in Europe. I think especially Greece, Serbia, Turkey. I think those are the three like really tough crowds to play in. It's hard to listen to your teammate right next to you because they cheer so loud. But I learned a lot about that. You know, you gotta trust your teammates. You gotta trust your coaches, everybody in your team. You know, you're gonna go together against everybody. And I learned a lot there in Europe.
Well, I'll speak in my native tongue. What's good, Luka? This dude over here. Anyway, I said before the bubble started, Luka, that there were a couple of guys that I was really going to pay close attention to, and yourself, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell. And I said I was going to do that because I felt that this is not a continuation of 2020. Did it feel like an off season and you're coming back for the next year knowing more as a player? Or do you feel like it's a continuation of 2020? Because I felt you were going to come back as more of an MVP candidate than an all-star that you were when you left.
I mean, I think for me it was like I was in off season. It was kind of like second preseason in one season. It was weird. Obviously, this situation is not the ideal one, but you know, I felt like it was. We had another preseason, you know, like working like in the summer. But you know, the same mentality as we started the season. We wanted to make the playoffs. Now we are tied 2-2. You know, we just want to believe. We want to win games, and that's what we aim for.
Luka, this day on the calendar, this August 24th, 8/24, it's Mamba Day. Give me your memories of Kobe Bryant, and also, I mean, because I know I've seen the video of you, you know, having a picture taken with Gigi and seeing Kobe at the game in December. I also heard that he was trash talking you in Slovenian. Give me that whole story and what your memories are that night.
Yeah, I mean, he said some bad words in my language, you know. I was like, who's talking to me in my language behind me? And I was like, just look behind me, it was Kobe. So I was just, it was something amazing, you know. I would never forget this day. And after the game I came, you know, I took a picture with him. You know, he was one of the guys that I look up to. And it was just, that day was amazing, and I'll never forget this.
You know, even though, first of all, you were awesome yesterday, and we just want to thank you for sitting in for Boban tonight, because he was busy.
I told him I was going to be there, and he was pissed. busy, guys.
Hey, no, we had him on the other night, and he says, "I just want to thank you guys for interviewing me instead of Luca. It was awesome."
Luca, I saw. He might be the best guy to interview.
Luca, can you do me one favor?
Yes.
Say you rang.
You know, so I had to look it up.
You had to look up that character because that wasn't on Amazing TV, I would imagine.
You know, so I had the best guy to interview.
Luca, can you do me one favor?
Yes.
Say you rang.
You know, so I had to look it up.
You had to look up that character because that wasn't on Amazing TV, I would imagine, growing up to Adams Family. But I would say that, you know, for the entertainment that you provided, I think for everyone, and you guys are doing in generality in the bubble, is the way you're playing and the effort that you're playing at. And we understand the stakes that it is and how difficult it is, and it's just great to watch.
Thank you very much.
And let me close it out this way with you, Luca. I just, when I saw yesterday before the game, you and Montrezl Harrell together, I think we all appreciated that gesture. Can you tell me about resolving any differences you might have had over that white boy comment?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was, like I said, you know, in the Beats playoffs, there's a lot of emotions. I think all the players understand that, you know, a lot of players in this situation don't say the word they mean, you know, in the players there's a lot of emotions, and, you know, we just clear out and everything's good, no worries.
Luca, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Porzingis going to play next game?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Let's see. I was just trying to get a little something out of you.
He found out right before the game.
Jack, what are you doing over here, man?
Jack is trying to find out.
Jack is trying to converse with you again.
That means good luck, right?
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Hey, Luka Doncic, thank you much. Good luck tomorrow night. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
We got an app. Language. Man,
Could we trade Shaq to Dallas for
oh, man, come on. Actually, that was pretty good, though, man.
We'll be back.
Still at home. Almost speaking language.
Oh, this is annoying. This better not be in NBA 2K21. When they foul, they're going to foul us in the fourth quarter. That better not be in the new game. So, no random fouls. Two more games left. Just two more games. tired of grinding. I'm tired of it. It's almost over. Kingdom. Jeff T. Finally done with Paul. Two more games. Yes, sir.
Damn, yo, what we doing? Portland, what we doing? What we doing, yo? What we doing? Damian Lillard, what we doing, baby? What we doing, baby? Come on, bro. What we doing, bro? I'm about to get upset. What the hell am I watching, bro? Y'all niggas was telling me Damian Lillard is better than Steph Curry. This nigga's getting clamped by Alex Caruso. He has a ball spot. Man, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed, bro. I'm going to bed. This shit is sad, bro.
To win, use your own mean. That's all they gotta do. They got small players. They can't do nothing. It's easy peasy. Lemon squeeze. Lemon peasy. Lemons peasy.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ronald Crazy. You know the motherfucking nigga coming at you with a motherfucking NBA news rant and shit. But yeah, man. Bro, these motherfucking Trailblazers fans, I feel bad for y'all because y'all was talking all that shit when y'all beat the Lakers game 1. Like, y'all really felt like y'all could just beat these motherfuckers. Like, the realistic Trailblazers fans, it's not about y'all. I'm talking about the fake ones who really thought they could just beat LeBron. Like, I'm not even the biggest LeBron fan, but y'all be underestimating that man so much, bro. Like, every single year, y'all pray on that man downfall, and he still comes back better than ever. The nigga was washed up shit. I thought he was gonna be probably washed up this year. I mean, I wanted the motherfucker. See, I'm not a LeBron fan, so of course I'm gonna think that the nigga proved everybody wrong. Shit, he proved me wrong. But the Trailblazers, man, at least y'all coming back to reality. I'm talking about the fan base. Y'all coming back. Y'all understand that the Lakers are just a superior team to y'all, and it's going to be that way. LeBron and AD is a far superior duo than CJ and Dame, but it's going to stay that way. Honestly, y'all might as well trade Dame. Trade him to another team, bro. Y'all been trying to do this since 2012, trying to win games and shit with Dame, bro. Like, come on, it's time. Time to just break the team. If it don't work one more year, it's time to break the team up. Including y'all and the Rockets too, but this ain't about this, about y'all. Trailblazer fans, y'all getting hit back to reality, man. But yeah, at least y'all not as bad as the fucking what's that team? What's that fucking the Nuggets? The Nuggets, Lord, they ass, man, they disappointing as a motherfucker. How you the third seed getting your ass punished by the sixth seed, like bad? You're getting crushed every game. They only stole game 1, and Donovan Mitchell had like 57 on fucking Jamal Murray 80. And then they had the other nigga, Michael Porter, checking, he couldn't do shit either. But Trailblazers, at least you didn't go outside, okay? I know the series not over, but let's be realistic. We know I'm not coming back against LeBron. If the Trailblazers come back against LeBron, I would walk outside butt ass naked, but I'm dead ass serious, and I'll record that shit for YouTube. Like, that's how I know they won't come back. I'm that confident they won't come back. As long as y'all don't go out completely sad and get blown out, at least y'all was competitive yesterday. Shit, honestly, I expected y'all to get swept already. But the fact that y'all even stole game 1, at least that's an accomplishment. And Dame, your ass needs to leave. This ain't particularly about Dame, this is about the team, but your ass needs to leave. You've been carrying that fucking team for so damn long, bro. The only consistent help you have is CJ and probably Nurkic. But Nurkic, that nigga was hurt. He was hurt for a whole season. He just came back. Only way he came back is the bubble. If fucking the regular season was normal without coronavirus, he wouldn't even came back either. But y'all need to just motherfucker evaluate the team. CJ, you need to go somewhere. Man, the whole trouble, I don't even know about them. They just need a whole evaluation. They just need life. But yeah, man, that's all I have to say. But let me finish it off before I finish it up. Man, I mean, I can't even talk that much shit. I'm a Wizards fan, so I can't even talk that much shit. See, I wish my team was in that position. I'd love to be the AFC to get swept, shit, or 4-1 shit. Let me be the AFC shit. My team hasn't been to the playoffs since 2018. Our best player hasn't even played in like 2 years. All he has Bradley Beal. Before the year, let me close that off. Let me close it off now. Before all the Trailblazers fans, man, it's alright, man. At least you did get to the third round that Dame Lillard run. But we gotta be realistic, bro. Y'all not winning a championship, bro. In order for Dame to win, he has to leave y'all. If Dame don't leave y'all, he's not winning. So what's the purpose of staying there? Loyalty ain't gonna get you nowhere. Shit, sometimes you gotta say, fuck that loyalty shit. Get you a ring, bro. But yeah, man, that's all I have to say, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Trailblazer fans, alright. At least your team not as bad as the Wizards. And of course, like the Knicks. The Knicks got the 8 picks. Knicks been tanking for like, what, 5-6 years? Not even 5-6 years. They been tanking for a decade, almost a decade down, motherfucker. And they still haven't got a consistent playoff run. They only been to the playoffs, what, like 3 years straight before in the recent memory since I've been alive, like. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, man. Trailblazer fans, alright, man. Everybody like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Share this video, man. We out. Bye.
Celebrate those long days and even longer drives with the fresh new lineup from Cadillac. Find the perfect ride for you. Choose from a diverse selection of uniquely crafted SUVs and sedans. The new Cadillac range of vehicles is the ultimate in iconic luxury. Current eligible lessees get this low mileage lease on this 2020 Cadillac XT6 for around $499 per month. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
This Labor Day, crack open a Budweiser and experience the refreshing taste of a long weekend. Make the most of your Labor Day by thinking of Budweiser today.
a dog bed for Ziggy and a king.
The king has arrived. You ever seen your dad cry?
Setup was super easy.
Yeah.
We got 100 nights to try it. I'll be 10 by then, so I'm out of my own place.
No.
That's sweet. I think the kids like it.
Yeah, I think they like it a lot.
This is the Ridge. It's the closest to perfection wallets are ever going to get. It comes in a dozen different colors and materials with the cash strap or money clip. Get your discount today at ridge.com.
First things first is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Hey guys, Baker Mayfield has set the bar. We'll measure it in a second, but first, Scary Terry catching the training camp touchdown from Dwayne Haskins. Gets up, punts, gets the team fired up. Brandon, where do you rate the catch or the punt?
The catch, I don't know. The punt is the most amazing thing. The catch is easy. He should do that. If I'm a Washington fan, I'm looking at this saying, do we have our quarterback? He dropped a dime. Love it.
Played well at the very end of last year, did Haskins, after a really tough start.
Little war of words here. Check out Russell Westbrook in street clothes, even though they look like basketball clothes, joined with Steven Adams, his former Thunder teammate during a timeout. Nick, anything wrong with a little playoff series tension among former playoff series teammates?
Not at all. And listen, Russ and Steven Adams, I assume, still have a great relationship off the court. They were great friends in the time they played together. This is also Wilds where I really am jealous of folks who can do accents, because pretending to say what Steven Adams says here in the New Zealand accent, dropping a few mates in, would be great television, but I can't do accents, so I just, in your head, imagine what Steven Adams says. Everyone can do. It's when he's willing to do it. You're a radio guy. Get the shot. No, you're not. All right,
let's talk some baseball. Little heads-up play, Rockies, D-backs, Cole Calhoun, stuck in a rundown. What does he do? He goes soccer with the header. Now, he was called out. Wilds, you love the move. He was called out?
This is sort of a tried-and-true strategy to get in line with the throw, but I've never seen a guy headbutt it. I think it's great. I think this is right up there with cutting off your finger to play in the Super Bowl. This is it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Why was he called out? I don't have a ton of analysis on it. It's just wonderful.
All right, time for a little drawing a blank. Also time for talking receivers. Kyler Murray, guys. Kyler Murray said it's definitely possible that the pass-catching firm of Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, and Christian Kirk all can get 1,000 yards this season. The Cardinals had the last trio to do that back in 2008. So, Nick, Kyler saying it's definitely possible Hopkins, Fitzgerald, and Kirk all go for 1,000 yards is blank.
It's actually possible. Unlike the conversation about this with the Cowboys. What up, Brandon? Hold on. I heard you say, hold on. Go ahead. What's up?
Fool's gold. Fool's gold.
Oh. Fool's gold? Oh, you think they got no chance? Cliff Kingsbury?
No.
You got Kyler in here, too?
It hasn't been done since 2008. If it was that easy, Aaron Rodgers would have did it with Driver and Jennings and the other guy, Jordy Nelson. Come on now. Fool's gold.
Okay.
I feel like it's closer than you realize. Kyler threw for 3,700 yards. DeAndre had 1,100. Larry's done it 9 times. It's just a matter of if Christian can get over the hump. So, Nick, I don't think it's fool's gold. I think they can actually pull it off.
Yeah, I think that talking about it in Dallas, when you have Zeke I think when you have Zeke as a running back, it's not going to happen. But when you're going to be throwing the ball as much as Kingsbury's going to throw it, Nuke is a superstar. Larry's super consistent. I agree it's about Christian Kirk. And also, shout out, it took 3+ years, but my good friend Stevie Breston finally made the show. Shout out to Stevie Breston. Miss you, buddy. Good to hear from you. I didn't know he was on this list. I tried to fit him into the show. We got him in.
Move on. Talk some Baker Mayfield. Baker has his sights set on an AFC North title this season, saying, it starts with a division title. Okay, Nick, my plethora of eye rolls aside, the Browns' AFC North title chances are blank. How about let's get out there and win one game and go from there? Let's stay healthy. Let's just all get on the same page. I gave you 3 options right there.
The answer is there's nothing the Browns could say in order to appease Jenna Wolf. So it is a bad question by you. But the Browns AFC North, 100% is true. The Browns AFC North chances are Lamar dependent. I think the Browns can win 10 or 11 games, Brandon. The problem is they're in a division with the Ravens, and the only way the Ravens don't win 12 games in the division is if something, either Lamar regresses terribly or Lamar, who's already a little dinged up, something happens to him where he has to miss time. If Lamar plays all 16, the Browns have no chance of winning the division. So I say it's the Browns AFC North title chances are Lamar dependent, Brandon.
Yeah, don't forget about Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers, too, but this is real. I've been saying this for the past 4 years, and it's getting frustrating, but I go back to 2016 where Jabril Peppers hit me in preseason. He hit me so hard, it made me think of 2 things. Number 1, I think it's time for me to probably retire, and number 2, the Browns have a chance. And since that hit, I've been saying that the Browns have a chance. So hopefully this is the year that they get it done. I like this team. I like the coach. Let's go.
Brandon, first of all, again, great cactus in your background. Fantastic. I'm going to add one to mine. I went with 9-13 dependent. They've got the Ravens right away. And Brandon, like, with no preseason, if you're ever going to, like, take down the Ravens, it feels like week 1 is the time to do it. Then you got Joe Burrow. So those first 2 weeks, you come out of the gate strong, maybe you got a shot.
Maybe
you have a shot. I'm telling you, this team is talented. This team is talented.
Speaking of the Ravens, All-Pro safety Earl Thomas released Sunday by Baltimore. Reports are leaking out that he was not well liked by his teammates. Brandon, let's start with you here. Earl Thomas reportedly being not well liked by his Ravens teammates is blank.
This is shocking because I spent a little over a year ago with him when I was playing for the Seattle Seahawks, and he was one of my all-time favorite teammates. So this is shocking to see a guy go from a leader in the locker room in Seattle to a distraction in Baltimore. Makes me wonder what else is going on. Now, we know he had a tough offseason personally, and in decision-making, punching a teammate, maybe it's time for Earl to sit down and get a little help, but this is definitely shocking, Jenna.
I said predictable, but not because of his track record prior to the Ravens. Predictable just because of how the Ravens responded to a training camp fight. If you cut a guy the day after a training camp fight, and it's after the team leadership council tells you to, well, then we know he wasn't well-liked. I wouldn't have thought he wouldn't be a well-liked teammate, but given the Ravens' actions and all the reporting on the ground in Baltimore, clearly the way he had conducted himself over the last 15 months in Baltimore led to him turning off a bunch of teammates and some coaches. So in that regard, given his tenure in Baltimore, is predictable, Wilds.
Brandon, do you think cutting Earl Thomas says something about the Ravens championship and like galvanizing that team? You knew they had such a tight-knit locker room. Do you think this shows how focused they are, that they're not going to let any disruptions inside the locker room?
100%. I think it shows how amazing this organization is. This is how you do it, right? When your mindset is that we're going to win a championship every single year, and if anything gets in the way of that, you knock it out the way, you get it out. So I think this is a perfect example, not only for that team, but everyone watching in all sports. This is how you do it.
Finish up in Atlanta, where quarterback Matt Ryan is heaping praise on his favorite target, Julio Jones, saying Julio is the premier wide receiver in the league. File that under what else would he say? Brandon, Matt Ryan saying Julio Jones is the premier wide receiver in the league is blank.
It's so frustrating because you have one of the top quarterbacks and the premier wide receiver in the league. Win more games. Matt Ryan, please win more games. So frustrating.
Yeah, I'm along the same line. If it's true, it's not great for Matt. Because if you've had the best wide receiver in the league for the better part of a decade, why are y'all always missing the playoffs? So, yeah, I mean, if it's true, Wilds, it's not great for Matt.
Jeez, okay. Well, I thought it was a nice compliment. They've been together 10 years, and I think they can see their productivity. I actually thought it was an interesting take on all the quarterbacks with new wide receivers. Like, is Tom Brady going to be as good as Matt Ryan is with 10 years of Julio Jones? Well, everybody knew except Cam, who will be fantastic with Hall of Famer Julian Edelman.
Some Sixers on the other side. Where do they go from here after another early playoff exit? First things first.
PNC Bank believes that if you can get a pair of goggles that helps you master your backhand, then you should be able to get a bank account that helps you master your budget. Virtual wallet for digital banking from PNC. It's time to get more from your bank. Here's a tip for your next fill-up at Exxon and mobile stations. Reduce contact at the pump with our easy-to-use app and pay and earn rewards from the comfort of your car. Download the Exxon Mobile Rewards Plus app today.
Cadillac is made for summer, so celebrate those long days and even longer drives with the fresh new lineup from Cadillac. Find the perfect ride for you. Choose from a diverse selection of uniquely crafted SUVs and sedans. The new Cadillac range of vehicles. It's the ultimate in iconic luxury. Current eligible lessees get this low mileage lease on this twin Cadillac XT6 for around $499 per month. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
I'm Hector. I am a delivery operations manager in San Diego, California. We were one of the first stations to pilot a fleet of electric vehicles. We're striving to deliver a package with zero emissions into the air. I feel really proud of the impact that has on the environment. We have daughters, and I want to do everything I can to protect the environment, so hopefully they can have a great future.
That's not your name. Oh, man, I messed it up. I thought that was your name.
Uncle Nearest is the smoothest, most award-winning premium American whiskey. Looks like the world is falling in love. Chances are, you will too.
This is my body of proof.
Proof I can fight moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis.
Proof I can fight psoriatic arthritis with Humira. Proof of less joint pain.
And clear skin and PSA.
Humira targets and blocks the source of inflammation that contributes to joint pain and irreversible damage.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious and sometimes fatal infections, including tuberculosis and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Humira is proven to help stop further joint damage.
Want more proof? Ask your rheumatologist about Humira citrate-free.
If you can't afford your medicine, AbbVie may be able to help.
Tums versus mozzarella stick. When heartburn hits, fight back fast with Tums Chewy Bites. Beat heartburn fast. Tums Chewy Bites.
Did you know that every second the universe expands by millions of miles in every direction?
Did you know Cricket has 5G?
Is it expanding too?
Nationwide. Whoa. Mind blown.
How do you think they make Starburst taste so juicy?
Starburst? Juice-Dradic equation. Super top secret mathematical formula they keep stored inside a safe, inside a vault, inside a volcano.
Oh, Juice-Dradics.
Starburst. Unexplainably juicy.
I'm at for like an empress. Bone on my bone, flesh on my flesh. Wait, let me make it feel less. I'm still 18. It's life after death. Roll the credits.
First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Hey, this week, Thursday
Thursday Night Baseball, Bryce Harper and the Phillies battling Juan Soto and the Nationals, or the A's taking on the Rangers. All the action being 6:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area. All right, guys, time for stories to start your morning, and starting with the thunder that we heard yesterday. It was loud, and it was good enough to even up the series with Houston. OKC taking Game 4, thanks to that guy CP3 giving you 26. Nick, do the Rockets need Russell Westbrook to return if they want to close out this series?
No, I think if he doesn't play, I still think they can win 2 of the last 3. But, Wilds, Game 3, they're up 5 with a minute left and blow it. Game 4, they're up 13 in the waning moments of the third quarter, and OKC goes on a 14-0 run, and then the Rockets make a mess of themselves in the final few minutes of the game. Those old ghosts of playoff closeout moments for the Rockets showing up again in Games 3 and 4 here, not great for Harden and company. So I think they can win the series without Russ, but they've got to finish these games better, Wilds.
Yeah, I don't want to see Russ on the court unless he's 110%. I would take it all the way to a Game 7 before Russ probably takes off his Iron Maiden shirt and checks himself into the game, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, guys, it's only fair for us to talk about yesterday. Yesterday we had this topic, and I think we all said that this series was over. And now we're talking about how this team could potentially take this series. Look, these 3 guards are playing lights out right now. And Nick, I know you're a stats guy. How about this stat? This team is 30 and 15 in clutch moments. So I think they definitely need Russ, and they need Russ fast. While waiting to Game 7, it may be too late.
Wilds doesn't want Russ to be 100%. He's got to be 110% for him to come back. On to pop the question now. Another report that Greg Popovich is the, quote, first priority in the Nets head coaching search. Often where there's smoke, there's fire. Also often when you've been the head coach somewhere for 24 years, you're probably not leaving. Nick, what do you make of this rumor that just won't go away?
Yeah, I dismissed it out of hand initially, Brandon, but it just keeps coming up. Frank Isola talked about it. We're having people in San Antonio reference it. It just feels like there is something there, Brandon. And while I don't see why Pop would do it, maybe he wants the final chapter of his career to be winning a 6th ring outside of the Spurs ecosystem.
I can't see it. I can't see it. It's like Coach Belichick going back to Cleveland. Think about that. You can't have Pop go to New York and deal with what? KD, with the uncertainty, with him recovering from this Achilles injury. And then does Pop really want to deal with the earth is flat guy and Kyrie?
It's a great question. It's a great question, Rob.
The Spurs playoff streak ended. I think Pop knows better than everybody. He looks at the West and says, well, this is not happening. I can't compete for a championship. If he gets a call from his old buddy, Sean Marks, and say, hey, would you like to coach these 2 superstars who need a coach that they respect, and you have a relationship with USA Basketball, and you can move to Brooklyn, New York, and kind of start a new chapter of your life, I think it's more than interesting, Jenna.
All right, we shall see. Speaking of head coaching vacancies, talk some Sixers, 3rd straight season not making it past the 2nd round for this Philadelphia team. Nick will tell you that ain't great. For Brett Brown, a 12-14 playoff record. Also that ain't great. That's not great, Nick. That isn't very good. Sixers firing their head coach yesterday after 7 seasons at the helm. No one does this expression like Nick does. Nick, break it down. How much of the Sixers' problems this year were Brett Brown's fault?
I don't think he was the primary culprit, but this is the easiest move for them to make. And, by the way, I think it's probably a necessary move. We talk about it in sports a lot. Sometimes there are the right coaches to get you from A to B, but not the right coach to get you from B to C. I think Brett Brown did a great job dealing with the process, the losing, the roster turnover, and I think he should be applauded for that. but he's had multiple chances in playoff series against excellent coaches to show that he can scheme with the best of them, and he can't. So I think for the Sixers to move on to the next step, moving on from Brett Brown was a necessary part of it, Brandon. But that does not fix things for them. That is one part of it, but it doesn't fix the $148 million you owe Tobias Harris. It doesn't fix the $81 million you owe Al Horford. It doesn't fix that Ben Simmons won't shoot, and it doesn't fix that Joel Embiid still seems exhausted by the second quarter of some of these playoff games. Those are bigger structural issues that whomever walks into that job, Brandon, they're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much here. I mean, we could talk about management and brand. We could talk about, you know, changing of coaches, which is never easy because now you got the ego that comes into play when you're dealing with professional athletes and superstars who make more money than you. And then we got the guys in the locker room and on the court. So do we start there? And to me, that's where I would like to start. When you look at Embiid, his body language, it just doesn't show that he's the guy. When you look at the Golden State Warriors, back in the day, you look at the Celtics, you look at the Spurs, you look at the Heat, there was always a guy that you can point at and say, that is the man. And I just don't see that in Embiid. I don't see that in Ben Simmons. So I would like to start there. If I'm Elton Brand, I'm saying this. Look, guys, I gave you guys opportunity. I know I hit on some guys and I missed on some guys. There's been a lot of turnover on the roster outside of our big two, but I gave you exactly what you needed in Jimmy Butler. Like, how do you let this guy leave? That's exactly what you needed, was a guy that can take control of the locker room, on the court, push people to be better. So I don't know, you know, what's going on in that locker room, but that's where I would start.
Yeah, you know, this is not sort of a baseball through a glass window where the angry dad comes out of the house and says, who threw the baseball? And everybody points at Brett Brown. It's like, it's 100% Brett Brown's fault. There's a lot of fault to go around here. And Nick, I'll throw it to you. I thought when Josh Richardson, who came from the Heat, says there's a lack of accountability, that's one thing that, like, all right, you're doomed. And the second thing was Brett Brown himself, when earlier in the year, he said, all I want to do is have Ben shoot 1 3 a game. That's all I'm asking. Tell his agent or tell his friends. Have him shoot 1 3.
He didn't say it to Ben.
Ben Simmons like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, well, this guy doesn't have real control over the team because we talked about it earlier in a second. If someone like Popovich did it, Ben Simmons would be out there looking like Gilbert Arenas.
Well, you hope. I mean, at some point, there's got to be accountability on the players. Like, I don't blame Tobias Harris for being Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is a 17 to 21 point per game guy, depending on what team he's playing for. They offered him 5 years, $180 million. Of course he took it. Al Horford at this point in his career is a lesser version of peak Al Horford. Everyone knew it. The Sixers, and I thought Zach Lowe pointed this out brilliantly, the Sixers signed Al Horford for 2 reasons. One, they thought he matched up well with Giannis. 2, they thought Embiid matched up poorly against Al Horford. So it's like, well, now Embiid won't have to go up against him, and when we play the Bucks, we'll have someone to guard Giannis. The problem is, Al Horford was such a bad fit on the team, he never even got to play the damn Bucks. So, like, that signing doesn't make sense. But Embiid and Simmons, the number 1 pick of the draft in Simmons, and Embiid, a guy who would have gone number 1 if you weren't concerned about his foot injuries coming out of Kansas, those guys have to mature professionally. Joel Embiid, it's the body language, Brandon, but it's also the fact that his rookie season, they were worried about his diet. There's a funny anecdote about how he just fell in love with Shirley Temples and drank them by the dozen.
Virgin Shirley.
This is 6 years ago. He's still overweight. Like, he still is not in shape. And Ben, the knock on Ben from his first moment in the league was a refusal to shoot. And he still refuses to shoot. Brandon, I don't put that on the coach. At some point, the athlete has to take it upon themselves to improve their weaknesses.
Yeah, I don't know if it's me because I'm a football guy, but it just seems like in basketball,
you know, it's more ownership goes to the player. In basketball, one guy, and we've seen this in the past with LeBron James and now with Luka, one guy can dominate a game, can change the entire game for a season. So I just don't understand why Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid just doesn't take things to a whole nother level. And to your point about not shooting the three, well, this is modern basketball. If you can't shoot, you can't play. So, I just think that, Joel and Ben really need to look themselves in the mirror and get it together. And if I'm Pop, I'm more attracted to this team than the Nets. Wilds.
Oh, I mean,
What say you, Wilds?
I don't think he goes there. I think it's Brooklyn or bust just because of the Jean Marc's connection, Nick.
You say it,
Well, and I'm just curious. I'm curious what this team's going to look like. Because if Elton Brand thinks we replace Brett Brown and run it back with this team and the results are going to be greatly different, then we're going to be having this exact conversation after next postseason. And listen, Tobias is nearly untradeable because of the contract. Al Horford is nearly untradeable. I personally wouldn't move Embiid because he's such a unique player as far as matchups against other guys. I am calling up Portland and saying, Ben Simmons for CJ, what do you think? Like, Ben's the better player, but CJ's a better fit. I may be calling up Chicago. Who's the they there, Wilds?
Did you see his body language? Nick, you're so focused on the talent.
For CJ or Ben. But keep going. If you had Al Horford along if you're taking Ben and a big contract and sending them.
This is unbelievable. You guys are still focused on the talent. Stop it. I keep telling you guys this is only day 2 for me. Talent only takes you so far. Yes, Joel Embiid has a skill set of a Shaquille O'Neal, but do you see his body language? That's not the mentality that you want in your locker room and leading your organization. So no, you keep Ben, if anybody, and get rid of Joel, the bad body language guy.
Well, you got those two now. They're probably going to run it back. Let's see if a new coach can come in and set that straight. Did LeBron take back the throne last night as the best player in basketball? Nick would say from who? Next, first things first.
Ben Simmons for Zach LaVine and something?
Lower carbs, lower calories, higher expectations. The life here you've been waiting for has arrived.
Believe you me, we've seen a lot of mornings. And eating the small bits of cheese stuck to a McDonald's wrapper is the right way to start a morning. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
With Skechers Max Cushioning, you get more cushion, more rebound. Each style includes maximum Ultra-Go cushioning, Skechers air-cooled Voga-Mat insoles, and rubber outsole contact points for added traction and durability. Get the Skechers Max Cushioning collection on Skechers.com.
When you're able to get out there, do it in an SUV you can rely on. With an available 360-degree surround view monitor and the #1 compact SUV in initial quality by J.D. Power. Getting out there, it's better in the Hyundai Tucson.
Did you know that every second the universe expands by millions of miles in every direction?
Did you know Cricket has 5G?
That's expanding too.
Nationwide. Whoa. Mind blown.
At Philadelphia, we know what makes the perfect smear of cream cheese. You need only the freshest milk and cream. That one. And the world's best, and possibly only, Schmear. Philadelphia. Schmear perfection.
Don't just do it yourself. Yeah. Nothing. Do it for yourself.
When you need your bank, Capital One's top-rated app is right here. So you can check your balance, deposit checks, pay bills, or transfer money. When you don't need your bank, put it here. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Believe you me, we've seen a lot of mornings. And eating the small bits of cheese stuck to a McDonald's wrapper is the right way to start a morning. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Lower carbs, lower calories, higher expectations. The light beer you've been waiting for has arrived. Really?
Get out of here, Cody Beans.
He's finally asleep.
Lakers gotta be an all.
Sometimes you need to take a moment for yourself. Instacart is here to help take grocery shopping off your plate. Choose which store to shop from, what items you need, and a shopper will safely deliver them contact-free in as fast as 2 hours. So while you recharge, your kitchen gets safely restocked. Go to Instacart.com or download the app to get free delivery on your first order using the code ORDERTODAY.
Natural disasters are a fact of life in the U.S. And between activities and school, chances are you won't be with your kids when they happen. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids can help your children feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Troll. First Things First is sponsored by Ram Trucks. You serve.
Time for a prime performance sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Talking LeBron James and the Lakers, the King had everything going on Mamba Day. Finished with 36-10 in the Game 4 win. His old pal D-Wade chiming in during the game saying, "This LeBron is a scary sight for anyone guarding him." So Nick, why don't we start there? You think LeBron retook his throne as the best player in basketball over the last 2 games? Because there was doubt. May not have been from you, but there was doubt.
A lot of doubt. No, he didn't retake it. Because you can't retake something that's already yours. Like, I'm not retaking this cup of coffee. I've always had it. It's been here. No one took it from me. It's just been sitting right here. Now, occasionally, maybe it's off camera and people don't know it's there. But you can't retake something that's always yours. But if I may for a moment, may I congratulate America on the return of the single best show on television, 14 of the last 15 years. It's not 60 Minutes. It's not The Simpsons. It's none of those. There you go, Wilds. It's exactly that. It's playoff LeBron. And if you haven't been around, just for a moment here, let me remind you how this show started. Many people say it had the greatest pilot episode of any show ever, with the 32-11-11 in the first playoff game. See, after season 2 of this show, people were wondering, could this be the greatest show of all time? That's the year he took the Cavs to the finals in 07. Seasons 7, 8, and 11 of this show, you swept all the awards. You won the championships, you won the MVPs, all of it. Season 13 of this show, people still to this day say might be the greatest individual performance ever. That was the 2018 Cavs. Now, then season 14 was postponed. And people wondered, is that show ever coming back? And in the first couple episodes of this season, people, it kind of slow, little plot setters. But now we're in the thick of it. Now the action's moving. Now you can't get up from your seat. Now you're wishing you could binge watch it. Hit next on Netflix. Because we are up and running, baby. And it is the greatest show on television. Count on it. Year in, year out. Wilds, you mind it to me. We can all say it together. Playoff LeBron. Sit back and enjoy it. Because he's busting heads and taking names, Brandon. I'm
Nick,
wrong.
you're wrong.
Tell me how I'm
You're
wrong.
wrong again. The last 3 years, the greatest show on TV has been you on this show talking about LeBron and the Lakers. Like, this is the greatest show. I mean,
He'll stand corrected on that,
unbelievable. Thank you. I mean, come on, man. Listen, you are right. Okay, there's one thing you're right about. LeBron, he never lost it. Okay, but I will say this: his only competitor right now is wear and tear. He is the biggest biggest beneficiary of this restart. Like LeBron James getting older, there's no more competition. The only thing that can knock him out is actually playing basketball. So I think that's what we're seeing right now, this re-energized, this refueled LeBron James. And this is why we're seeing guys like Dwayne Wade tweet about this is scary, because the real face of this league, and I'll say it again,